Welcome back to Well, That's Interesting. I'm Jill Chacha, and I am with Master Builder Marissa Riley.
That's right.
That's right.
You guys, I built a bed. Not only did I build an entire bed,
Yeah,
but I also took apart an old bed.
that's right.
And we put it out on the street. We brought in a new bed. I built it in less than an hour.
Trey Butch.
Trey fucking Butch.
Trey Butch, I'm so proud of you.
Butch AF.
We're sitting on it right now. I feel so secure and stable.
It's so sturdy. It is not broken, unlike the other one, which broke every time I sat on it. And it was starting to hurt my feelings.
Yeah, it was getting personal after a while.
It was getting very personal, and I was like, look, it's like 5 pounds, dude. It's not that bad. And the bed was making me feel crappy, so we got a new one.
Got a new one, and I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
You're beaming. Well, where are we? We're at In-Betweeni 029.
Amazing.
The man who held in a sneeze and the walrus who accidentally woke up in Ireland.
You know, these two things are relatable in such different ways. You know, I've definitely fallen asleep on a train and woken up basically in Canada.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yep.
I've also tried to hold in a sneeze, but then let it out. And then I think every time I've held in a sneeze and then let it out, it's worse than it would have been.
Oh, yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Louder, more embarrassing, goo all over.
Have you ever farted?
Have I ever farted? No. I've never
Held in a
farted.
sneeze and tooted.
And then farted while
Yeah.
sneezing. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, for sure.
I didn't mean in general.
Don't tell anyone. But yes, that's definitely, I can confirm.
Excellent. Yeah.
And it was embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, what happened to this guy? It wasn't embarrassing. It was tragic. But we'll get to it.
Oh, God.
And before we get into In-Betweeni 029, we need to make an update. We need to update a story back in that we told. Hold on, I can get this right. I can get this right. Before we get into In-Betweeni 029, we need to update a story we told back in episode 029.
Oh, yes.
See, I did it.
You nailed it. Just like this bed.
That's right. So if you haven't checked out our episode 029, please do. We spoke about our top 3 bonkers fucking recalls.
Yeah, we did.
Product recalls. And our winner, our number 1 product, and our number 1 asshat that day was Mr. Zucker, the creator of something called Buckyballs.
The most bullshit thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So unnecessary. So dangerous.
So dangerous. So Zuck. Anyway, these were marble-sized magnets, and they were taken off the market by the Consumer Product Safety Commission, or the CPSC. And after it was like a 2-year legal battle that eventually ended in the courts. And it turns out that fight isn't over.
Jesus Christ. I just have to say, like, do we not have better things to do? Are there not better things to deal with in the courts?
Guess not.
There's, systemic racism. There is a pandemic.
It's too difficult.
What are
you talking about?
And we're focusing on magnets?
Yeah.
Guys, you guys, come on.
There's nothing wrong with this. So just a reminder, these magnets are not the ones on your fridge. They were marbles, and they're like 2 to 3 times stronger. So if you swallowed more than one, you'd have magnets in your gut trying to attract. And this all led to hundreds of serious intestinal injuries in children and some teens.
Jesus.
So back in 2014, the courts sided with CPSC, saying like this shit is fucking crazy, it's causing way too much harm, and the companies who make these magnets aren't doing enough to stop it.
Yeah.
So they ruled off the market, just get rid of them. So that's where we ended our glorious episode.
Yeah, we felt great about it.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah.
But capitalism is going to capitalize.
Yeah.
And when a particular administration gained power in the U.S. back in, 2016, lots of things were reversed quietly, including this decision, and the effects of the reversal are finally out there. let's read from the Gizmodo article, Kids Just Can't Stop Eating These Magnets, because it sums up the stats so well. I'm going to read one half, and how about you read the other half?
Sounds amazing.
Okay, great. Now, quote, in late 2016, however, the U.S. Court of Appeals struck down the rule, and the magnets were once again widely available in 2018. Once the magnets returned, the calls to poison control skyrocketed. In 2018 and 2019, the average number of calls per year rose by 444% compared to the period when the magnets were banned. Now, Dr. Marissa, would you please continue?
I would love to, Dr. Jill. All right. The number of calls that merited serious medical attention, such as hospitalization, also rose by, you guessed it, 355%. What's more, 39% of all magnet-related calls in the study occurred in those 2 years alone, you guys. A study published in December 2020 found that the rate of magnet-related visits to the ER among children rose by 82% from 2017 to 2019 compared to the years 2013 to 2016, end quote. Oh my God, stop selling these magnets, you guys.
It's just, I didn't even know 444% could exist.
I didn't either. I can barely wrap my head around it. I don't love this, but I love that on the very long list of things Trump is responsible for doing, we can now add shredding children's intestines with magnets.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
There you go. So please watch this space. Watch for the, I'm sure, very long legal battles that will ensue. This product recall is fucking epic, and it is certainly deserving of its number one title hold, I think.
Yeah,
it's
number
just
one.
Placeholder, whatever the fuck the word is.
Yes. Number one bullshit. Oh, dear.
I think we need a palate cleanser.
Definitely.
Okay, so what better way to cleanse the palate than a story about one that nearly blew up?
Ooh.
Let's begin our In-Betweenie, sticking around 2018, but we're leaving the States for England to the city of Leicester.
Oh, okay.
Here, a 34-year-old man described as, quote, previously fit and well, walked into an emergency room complaining he had lost his voice and was unable to swallow normally. The study, published in the January issue of BMJ Case Reports, also states he confirmed he, quote, hadn't eaten anything sharp.
Okay.
That's good.
No magnets.
Yes. But he did hold in a sneeze by clamping his nostrils and keeping his mouth closed.
Why? Why would anyone do that? I don't know. Do we ever discuss why he does that? Or is he just a weirdo?
He just did it. He just did it. Yeah. So after doing this, the dude heard and felt a pop in his neck, which began to swell, and thus his problems began. When doctors listened to his breathing, they heard what was described as a very audible, small, like crackling sounds coming from his neck.
That's a bad sign.
They came from his neck, and they like travel all the way down to like his rib cage with every exhale.
I'm not a real doctor. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but I don't think it takes a doctor to know that this is so bad.
Yeah, your throat shouldn't sound like bubble wrap.
No, definitely not.
Britain's Leicester Royal Infirmary performed a few x-rays, and wouldn't you know it, that sneeze, having nowhere to go, found another way out. It busted through the back of his mouth and down his throat.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so perhaps it was one contained sneeze too many. For you see, this was the one that finally ruptured his pharynx, and this is the entryway right behind your tongue at the back of your mouth. And I'd say it's important.
I would say that's very important.
Yeah. It's basically the passageway for air, food, and liquid to end up in the right direction once entering your body. According to WebMD, branching off the pharynx is the esophagus, which carries food to your stomach, and your trachea, or windpipe, which carries air to your lungs.
So basically the pharynx helps control like the three most important things you do in a day.
Top three.
Which is breathing, eating.
Yeah, for me, yeah.
And drinking margaritas.
That's right. You can
clink.
Which is what we've got going on. Yeah, you want your pharynx to work for margaritas especially.
Definitely.
So back to the sneeze, which after, sorry. If you do rupture and bust your pharynx, stuff may end up in all sorts of places. That it shouldn't. So put a pin in that before I get too far here.
Okay.
But back to the sneeze, which after fucking up the pharynx, condensed into large air pockets that embedded in the soft tissues down his neck and into the space between his lungs. Think shrapnel, but made of bubbles, basically. Yeah. So when he breathed or tried to move, those pockets were popping. And that's what made those cracking noises, basically. But good news, these bubbles have happened before in people, and it's a condition called crepitus.
Oh, yeah. Crepitus.
So,
fun.
More good news. You can see these air pockets thanks to x-rays, like we said. Now, would you like to see the man's newly inflated throat and these air pockets? Would you like to see the x-ray?
I kind of really would. I'm really pumped about this.
So we will also provide the x-ray on our Instagram. Well, that's interesting pod. And I'm going to pull up this x-ray right here and just tell us, what do you see, Dr. Marissa?
So I see a profile.
Yeah.
An x-ray profile of a man's neck. So it looks like there is a sliver of space. Is this it that I'm
That's
looking
it.
at?
That's one air pocket.
There is a sliver of extra space between the spinal cord and it looks like tissue. Mm-hmm. And there's just an extra space.
That's right.
And I don't think it's supposed to be there.
I don't think so either.
I think that's a bad sign.
Yeah, it's his throat looks bigger than normal.
Yeah,
I'll also say.
It does look quite a bit bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a big old air pocket down his throat that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, and it's not like a tiny bubble. It's like a long sliver of space.
It goes from like his chin down to his shoulders.
Yeah, it's bad news.
Yeah, it's bad news. Now, if you're wondering how a common sneeze could be so damaging, also, Dr. Mercer, if you would be so kind as to read the NPR article, Man Ruptures His Throat by Stifling a Sneeze.
Absolutely, I would love to. All right, quote, it's powerful. Allergist Eli Meltzer told NPR's Nancy Shute. We actually blow out the sneeze at 40 miles per hour. The discharge can go 20 feet. And it's said that 40,000 droplets can come out when you spritz with the mouth and the nose when you sneeze. End quote. Yeah. That's a lot of numbers, a lot of bigger numbers than I thought. 40 miles per hour.
40 miles per hour. Yeah.
That's as fast as a car or the wind
a vehicle,
or I don't know.
Yeah.
Some fast things.
That is just going down your throat when you hold it in.
Jesus.
So, the article also includes a quote from Dr. Ziyang Zhang, a head and neck surgeon. He says that this incident is, quote, exceedingly rare, and that he sees 1 or 2 cases a year, which I think is a shocking number. 1 or 2.
I think that's actually more. I thought this was like once every 10 years kind of thing.
Oh, God. So let's head back to our hospitalized dude. Remember when I said to put a pin in when the pharynx is busted and stuff may end up in all sorts of places it shouldn't?
Oh, yeah. Haven't stopped thinking about it.
Because of this, he was at high risk of a deep neck and chest infection, so they put him on precautionary antibiotics and a feeding tube because his throat couldn't be trusted to guide food the right way, and it needed to relax and heal.
Oh, God.
Quote, thankfully the man did recover. By day 7, his throat had healed enough that he was taken off the feeding tube and soon after discharged from the hospital with instructions to avoid holding in his sneezes.
Oh, my God.
A subsequent checkup 2 months later revealed no further problems. End quotes. Yeah. So that was from the Gizmodo article, One Man Ruptured His Throat by Trying to Hold Back a Sneeze. So, happy ending there.
Yeah. You know what I'm never going to do? And what I never thought of doing, what I never have done, it's holding in a sneeze. Yeah. Definitely. I have too many margaritas in my future to mess that up.
BTW, the BMJ case report, also mentions minor injuries from stifled sneezes, which include bursted eardrums, ruptured blood vessels, and pulled back muscles.
Oh, God.
So just wear a mask, sneeze into the crook of your arm if you don't have a tissue, and then for the love of God, wash your hands.
Yeah, or just stay home forever.
Just stay home forever. Now, after the break, we're going to cleanse our palate cleanser with the wholesome fucking story of a walrus that woke up to find itself in Ireland.
Oops.
So, stay tuned.
Please do.
Hello, everyone. You may recognize me as Gabby from the History of Everything podcast.
And my name is Brenna, and you don't recognize me from anything yet.
Together, we're two scientists who explore all of the weird little questions and conspiracies of the universe in our new podcast, Mystery of Everything. Everything has an explanation.
We hope.
But that is what we're here to figure out. We will dive into the science behind many popular conspiracy theories, such as vaccines causing autism, flat earth theory, and was the moon landing fake? And if so, why the heck would anyone even do that?
But it's not just conspiracies. There's a lot of cool mysteries that we will attempt to use science to explain, such as near-death experiences, what made the Vikings go berserk, and can I control my co-host with MK Ultra?
Wait, what? Anyway, make sure to check out the Mystery of Everything podcast everywhere where you find your podcasts.
Hello everyone, Stakuyi here.
And I'm Gabby.
And we are the hosts of History of Everything, a podcast which you can probably guess by the name is, well, it's about everything. Do you want to know why people thought potatoes were evil and would give you syphilis? Are you curious about all the stories of the terrible and stupid ways that people have kicked the bucket over the years? Do you want to hear tales about all of the different badasses of history and the lives that they had brought to life? Well, if so, then look no further. History of Everything is just the right podcast for you. It's available on Spotify, Pandora, and anywhere else that you get your podcast from. Join us for some fun and just see how weird and wacky history can be.
Hey everyone, Jill Chacha here from Well, That's Interesting, and I am absolutely thrilled to tell you about Spotify for podcasters. I use it, I love it, and it all started by downloading the free Spotify for Podcasters app, which has all the tools you need in one place to record and edit your masterpiece of a podcast. Spotify for Podcasters also distributes your show to all major platforms, so when you hit publish, your episodes will stream not only on Spotify, but I'm talking about the Apples, the Googles, Stitcher, Good Pods, the other ones. You get the idea. And you can monetize your podcast with no minimum listenership required. You could also set up monthly subscriptions and record ads just like this one. So what are you waiting for? Download Spotify for Podcasters today and start changing the world. Oh, and please, stay interesting. And we're back.
We are so back.
We're so back. And if anyone has lived in New York City or any city with public transit, especially trains,
Oh, yeah.
you've probably fallen asleep at some point while commuting.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
L train.
So
Taking a long nap on that one. Couple times.
And you've probably missed your stop.
Yep.
You may have ended up at the last goddamn stop, like Coney Island or Harlem, or in this case, Ireland.
Yikes. That's a long nap.
Yeah, so just a few days ago, on March 14th, quote, a walrus was spotted along the coast of Valentia Island in County Kerry, one of the westernmost points of Ireland. Alan Houlihan and his 5-year-old daughter, Maureen, were walking along the beach this past weekend when they noticed a creature lounging on some rocks. I thought it was a seal at first, and then we saw the tusks, Houlihan said. He kind of jumped up on the rocks. He was massive. He was about the size of a bull or a cow, pretty similar in size. He's big, end quote. And that was from allthatsinteresting.com.
So, okay. So, walruses are not normally found in Ireland. Forgive me if that's a ignorant statement. I'm just trying to imagine what the equivalent of if I were to walk outside right now.
Yeah.
What would be the weirdest? I would have to be like a rhinoceros.
That would be highly unusual.
Cheetah.
that would be not good. Both not good.
I
have to say,
Republican. I don't know. It's just so many weird things in this area I could see.
Yeah, actually, a walrus would probably be the safest wild animal to see.
Yes.
And we'll get to it as to why.
Safer than a Republican.
Yeah. Dad also pointed out that 5-year-old Maureen was the first to spot the walrus. He told independent.ie, quote, Maureen is the David Attenborough of Valentia Island, end quote. So cute. So thanks to Big M, we also have some video, and I'd love to play it for the other Big M right next to me.
Oh, yeah.
Big M, would you please do a little walrus watching and just describe his behavior and its cute, confused, bumbling appearance, if you will?
I would love to.
Okay.
I would love to.
So I'm going to play it right now.
All right. I'm looking at the walrus. It's on, it looks like it's on a rock in the water. It's lurching up this rock. It's crawling up. Looks a little, maybe still drunk from the night before. It's like, where the fuck am I? Why are there palm trees when I fell asleep in New York last night? Gosh, it looks really embarrassed. Oh, it's getting in the water.
There you go.
Buddy, I don't know if swimming home is the right thing to do.
Well, yeah, it was definitely sniffing around. Definitely looked
It
a
was
little
like,
confused.
where am I? It was definitely, yeah, it was peeking around. Yeah, I hate to use the phrase spirit animal, but I did connect to this one a lot.
Speaking to Radio 1's Morning Ireland, Mr. Houlihan said, quote, I haven't seen anything like it before, in Ireland anyway. I've never seen one. I've spent my younger years fishing with my father, and I've never seen anything like it.
Aww.
He then added, quote, it's brilliant. He was sitting on the rock, now kind of posing, and at one stage there, he threw up a fin, and it looked like he was giving us all the birdie. End quote. So Mr. Houlihan was right. Not only was the walrus probably giving him the finger, maybe, but a wild walrus sighting outside of the Arctic Circle is super rare.
Yeah.
The first recorded sighting in Ireland was way back in 1897. And then there wasn't a peep again for almost a century. The next sighting wasn't until the 1980s.
Wow.
Yeah, so what in the green hell is going on here?
Yeah.
So would you be so kind as to tell us what Kevin Flannery, a marine biologist with the Dingle Ocean World Aquarium, told the Independent?
I would absolutely love to quote this gentleman from the Dingle Ocean World Aquarium, which I had to say out loud. All right, quote, I'd say what happened is he fell asleep on an iceberg and drifted off, and then he was gone too far out in the mid-Atlantic or somewhere like that, down off Greenland, possibly, end quote.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Arctic or Greenland.
Yeah, just probably nodded off and just ended up at the last stop in Ireland, about 900 miles from the Arctic. Now, we'll provide some images on our Instagram, but if you fancy giving it a Google right now, search Walrus Ireland March 2021, and you'll see a video and a couple of pictures which suggest this is probably a walrus on the younger side, and this may explain why he got lost and also maybe gave the finger to Houlihan.
Yeah.
But an adult walrus can have tusks as long as 3 feet, and this one's tusks were like a few inches in length, maybe a foot.
Ah, so an adolescent, sounds like. Because it looks big enough to, do its thing.
Yeah.
But it did have small tusks.
Now we have a few more walrus facts coming up, but before that, you're probably curious as to what happened. Shortly after being spotted, the walrus vanished, which is actually probably good news. Quote, perhaps the walrus has already begun his return journey to the Arctic Circle, as Alan Houlihan recently went to check on his new friend and found the beach empty. I went down early this morning and there was no sign of him, Houlihan said. So I hope he's eating scallops and getting ready for his journey back. End quote. And that's from wellthatsinteresting.com.
Fabulous.
So Godspeed to our sleepy walrus, who is classified as a pinniped, a fin-footed semi-aquatic marine mammal.
Oh, a pinniped. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So how do you feel about finishing this In-Betweeni with a lightning round of fun walrus facts?
I feel absolutely fabulous.
Fantastic.
Tell me everything.
Okay. Voila. Read. God damn it.
Oh, yes. All right. Okay. Fact number 1. Walruses weigh between 1,320 to 3,300 pounds. Yeah. All right. I got that one. And can be as long as 10.5 feet. Males are about twice as big as females.
walruses are pretty damn chill, but if they really have to, they could swim as fast as 20 miles per hour.
Walruses are carnivores, but they aren't ferocious hunters. They love shellfish, which they find by dragging their whiskers along surfaces in the dark Arctic waters. According to the Smithsonian Institution's Arctic Study Center, a walrus can eat up to 4,000 clams in one feeding. I want to make a lesbian joke, but I won't. When food is hard to come by, walruses will also eat the carcasses of dead seals.
There you go.
Oh my.
Yeah. A lady walrus usually gives birth to one calf after a 15-month gestation period.
Damn.
And that baby could weigh 100 to 165 pounds. And hopefully it would live to the ripe old age. Its life expectancy is about 40.
Wow.
Yeah. And finally,
the walrus's scientific name is Latin for, and I quote, tooth-walking seahorse, according to National Geographic. I must say that is one of my favorite translations. The only better one is penguin.
Yeah.
And was it the Japanese name for penguin?
yeah, I think the literal translation is, go for it, you say it.
Business goose.
Business goose.
Business goose, you guys.
Oh, I think it's actually Mandarin.
It's Mandarin.
Sorry.
It's Mandarin. The Mandarin translation for penguin is business goose. It's, you know,
There you go. That's a gift.
tooth-walking seahorse is a close second.
Close second. So that was from National Geographic, and our other source for today's facts were from livescience.com, so thanks to them for that. And for Maureen for being the next David Attenborough.
Yeah.
And for all of y'all, thank you for listening and rating and telling your friends and just, you know, just being the walrus in our hearts.
The walrus in our hearts. That's y'all.
That's y'all.
Y'all are the best. If you fall asleep and wake up somewhere weird,
Tell us.
tell us about it. No judgment.
Yeah.
How did you get home?
Yeah.
What, did you call a friend? Could you find your phone? Something tells me if this walrus had a phone, it was definitely lost.
Yeah. Oh, God. Well, please email us at wellthatsinterestingpod@gmail.com and let us know.
Definitely.
And stay interesting.
Please do.